channel and I upload something new, you will automatically get a notification. Yes?
Yeah, you pick it up on Moodle, don't you?
Sorry?
Don't you give us a link on Moodle?
Only in cisw370 because that's an online class. So we don't have scheduled meetings on certain days. For this class, because we always meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you can just look up the calendar and find out which day you want to, the video of which day you want to watch again, and then use that to search or just go here and browse.
So in this class, it's no, you don't link them up.
That is correct. In this class, I do not send you a link directly. You can just go to YouTube and search for the video clip.
Got it.
Yep.
Is this the only way you're recording your classes? You're not doing the audios?
This is audio too. This is screen recording with audio. So you can basically, you can hear what I say in class. You can also see what the screen looks like in class. Except there's no video on myself, because there's no point. I'm not going to do anything that is worth recording. Everything that's worth recording is on the screen.
You were at one time you used to do just the audio.
At one point I was just doing the audio, but now I do both the audio and the screen recording. Yep.
What do you output in 1080p?
Sorry?
1080p. Can you watch it in 1080 HD?
This is going to be 720p, because when I record, I'm using a 1024 by 768 resolution. So that's pretty much the resolution you get. It doesn't really help to bump the resolution up anymore, except taking up more bandwidth. Because if I make the screen if I make the resolution very high and make the font very small, people in the back cannot see it anyway. So this is how you find the screen recording. And you can probably find screen recordings from past semesters. As you can see here, maybe not here, the previous screen, somewhere. Somewhere it says how many video clips I have uploaded. It's like 800 something. So I have recorded my lectures for the past few years with all my classes. So you can actually browse through it and find out what I taught before and stuff like that. You can even find answers to exam questions in past semesters, which is not going to be very helpful because I always come up with new questions. Well, that's a challenge to myself. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, one more thing. Before I was able to upload the entire 80 minutes as one video clip to YouTube, I can no longer do that because I'm no longer in good standing with YouTube. Because I have been using third-party content without approval or prior arrangement, so it's copyright infringement. No, it's not DMCA even. This is actually Google's own technology. It's called Content ID. And Content ID, Google did something to the Content ID engine, and it's now spewing out false positives left and right. I have 4 accusations over the past 2 weeks or so. I disputed 2 right away, and they released the hold on my content right away, because there's absolutely no way that I can be using the third-party content. One had to do with me talking in a class like this in a boring voice, and then the accusation was I was using part of the music of some artist. I don't think I talk like people singing. Okay, with the exception of Pet Shop Boys, because those 2 guys, that one person, the singer, actually does sound like talking when he's actually singing. Okay, but that's the only exception. Okay, and then there were 2 other infringements, based on a blank screen. Okay, I was opening up a blank text editor with a blinky cursor, and that screen was infringing on somebody else's video content. Wow. So there were 2 that released the hold right away. The owner of the copyright deal just said, no, that's just stupid, and released the hold. And then 2 did not release the hold, and they don't have to do anything until next month. Okay, so between now and next month, I have a choice of either removing the question content, or I can just dispute and wait for those people to release my hold. I don't really feel like removing my video clip because there's nothing wrong with my video clip. I did not use any third-party content. So what that means is I have to chop my 80-minute into 15-minute segments, and I have to upload it as several clips, and I will give you a playlist instead of a full 80-minute clip. So this way you can just play the entire playlist and get through it. It does make searching for a particular content harder because it's not one continuous stream, but that's the best I can do at this point. Okay, any questions? And of course, you guys can also write other things and complain to Google that their content ID is broken.
Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Yep. Well, a lot of people have been complaining. It didn't impact me until recently. So I don't know. I think they need better software engineers. Maybe they should take this class first.
You're taking shots left and right.
Well, they did something, and there were just a whole bunch of false positives, and that's just not right. On the other hand, it's still better than Apple's GPS navigation software because that can actually kill people. Yeah, I want to go to this major tourist attraction. Oh, sure, go that way. It's a desert, so by the time people realize it's going in the wrong direction, there's not enough gas to get back to safety. It's like, okay, we are out here now with all the poisonous snakes and whatnot. What are we gonna do? They can start to write the next survival story, right? If I make it out alive, I'll be ready to write all that story and sell my rights to the movie makers and stuff. All right. So getting back to the syllabus. Sometimes I digress and I forget how to get back to where I started. Pets, that's an interesting one. I don't think anyone is going to bring in a pet that I can see into the class. But pets note is a big no-no. I had one person brought in a dog that is not a seeing eye dog or helpful in any way. It was licking students around the dog the whole time, and it was just a major disruption in the class. Cell phone ringing, same thing. I just talked about it. Just install an app on your smartphone. That can turn off the ringer during the class, and that's a really easy thing to do. Eating or drinking in the class, except for just plain drinking water is okay, but not anything else. And I can ask people to leave the classroom if they do not follow these rules. Conduct code. This has to do with cheating and academic dishonesty. So I would just kind of highlight several parts. You guys have to read the entire thing. All right. So the most important part here is this part. Academic dishonesty occurs when students attempt to show possession of a level of competency, knowledge, or skill that they do not possess. I don't care how it is done. It can be people passing slips of paper. It can be people just whispering to each other. It can be a person turning around and trying to look at the answer of the person behind that person. I don't understand how someone would want to do that. Even if that person is interested in cheating, I would just go to the side, possibly the front, but turning around to the person behind that person, that's a little bit, far-fetched. But somebody actually did it. Yep.
What about, remember the final last semester?
You can remember the
You remember what happened? People
What?
found the answer key online, and you were talking
yes,
about
cisp300-1, yes.
Yeah, people found
That would
the answer
count
key.
as dishonesty.
Because you upload your answer key, and
No, I did not.
how did they find it?
They found it because somebody else did it. And that's why I'm not using the textbook anymore, because if I use a textbook and use the question bank from the publisher, all it takes is one person to upload the key. And that person who uploads the key may not even be of malicious intent. Maybe it's just, okay, I'll let the students know what the correct answer is supposed to be or whatever.
The website that they found it on was an instructor's website.
Yeah, but it wasn't mine. I was.
I mean, it was just for an instructor had used.
Yeah, but still, people
Anyways,
can.
last semester, some people found the answer key to our final online during the final, because our
Yep.
final was on a computer.
Yep.
And they basically answered all the questions and we caught them while they were doing it.
Yep. So that would count as dishonesty too, because those people who use the answer key to answer the questions are definitely showing a possession of knowledge, possession of a level of competency, knowledge, or skill that they do not possess. Okay, if I cut off the internet, they would not be able to score the same score as with the answer key. Okay. All right. So this part is very important because I don't care how it is done. If it satisfies this requirement, it is counted as dishonesty. Now, if you can read my mind, I'm not quite sure whether it counts or not, because if you can read my mind, you can potentially get my knowledge too, and all the other junk that goes along with it. So, so I would put, mind meld in a gray area.
What about hive minding?
Hive minding?
Like to work.
Well, that's dishonest, because if I pick out one particular Borg and disconnect him or her or it from the rest, that individual would not be able to score the same score as with a hive mind. So that would count as dishonesty in this class. Yes, so any Borg in this class may want to drop the class right now. No, there are no Borgs here. Okay. Cylons, anyone? No skin jobs? I can see half the class is going like, what are you talking about? And then the other half is going like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so any work involving cheating would not count at all for any scores, and it will be reported too. Okay, so I don't want anyone to try it. Okay, it's not good. And I can retroactively re-examine anything that is already submitted and graded for any evidence of dishonesty. And if I find anything, I can retroactively grade or regrade or not count the grade of work that is already graded. And that is the conduct code section. Grading, letter grade equivalence is different from most of your other classes. Anyone who get less than 1/8 of all the total points gets an F. Between 1/8 and 3/8 is a D. Between 3/8 and 5/8 is a C. Between 5/8 and 7/8 is a B. And anyone with at least 7/8 of all the points will get an A in this class. With this particular class, cisp300, I find that the ABCDF distribution is about the same as almost all of the other classes on campus. So just because I changed the breakpoints a little bit doesn't mean this class is any easier than the other classes. It's easy, well, it's understandable because I just don't ask easy questions. So there's no padding up to 60% at all. Is that okay? Okay, all right. Components and proportions. 20% of your grade will come from homework assignments. 40% comes from final exams. Wow, final exam counts for 40%. So that means someone can pass this class with a C just by acing the final exam. Right? 37.5% is what you need to get a C out of this class. And the final exam all by itself is 40% already. I have never seen anyone try that. Now, by saying that, I hope I'm not challenging, some of you to say, I'll be the first one. I'll not turn in any homework assignment. I'll flunk the first test, the second test, and I'll just go ahead and ace the final exam to show you what can be done.
Challenge accepted. Just kidding.
Yeah, you can, but that person cannot miss the exams because missing the exam is counted as an absence, right? So you cannot miss it. You just have to flunk it. Grading FAQ, the score is assigned based on observable